Hello, welcome to Taking Off Topic. I'm your host, Amanda Rankin. And in this bonus clip, I wanted to expand on the previous episode, Parenting Highs and Lows, and focus specifically on co parenting and what my experience has been. When it comes to co parenting, it can be difficult. And what I realized in my co parenting journey was that unforgiveness, a continued lack of a common language, had led to so many communication issues. And you think, right, that makes sense. The relationship ends, the marriage ends. Of course, co parenting is going to be hard. But I'd known that to be different because my older son's father and I were able to co parent pretty seamlessly throughout his childhood. So I couldn't for the life of me understand why my ex husband and I struggled so much with it. I was at my son's game, and his father was sitting next to me, or near me, not next to me. And he sighed. And then I sighed in response to his sigh and rolled my eyes. And my girlfriend, who I love so very much, looked at me and said, "Dang, Amanda, can he breathe?" And in the moment, we laughed. It was funny, but it just kept playing over and over in my head. Dang, Amanda, can he breathe? And what I came to realize was that God had used her in that moment to speak a word to my heart because my heart posture needed to change. It wasn't about my hurt feelings or my disappointment or anger. What it was truly about was my ex husband and I creating an environment where our son felt loved and supported by both his parents. I also had to remember that I too am the villain in someone's story. Now, outside of abuse or domestic violence of any kind, I'm a firm believer that both people play a role in a relationship ending. True, you may have not been the one to do the egregious act that was the last straw for the relationship, but as I thought back over my marriage, I was definitely putting cracks in our foundation by withdrawing, by refusing to continue to work at finding a common language and understanding, by not sharing my heart, and by building walls around my heart. Has changing my heart posture been easy? Absolutely not. And the only way I've been able to do it is with God and setting some clear boundaries. I've had to do the work through counseling, self reflection, and really getting to know God for who He is and His true character, and also who He says I am. Now, before I respond to my ex husband or go to an event that we're both going to be at, I pray. I ask God to empower me with the fruit of the spirits. Not that I can only recite them, but that I can also exemplify them and execute them throughout my walk. I have to check my pride and bring to remembrance that I fall short daily, and yet God still showers me with grace and mercy. So who am I not to extend that to everyone, especially my ex-husband? Now, do I miss the mark? Of course I do. But when I do, my heart aches because I know that in that instance I responded out of frustration, out of anger, just me being me, and instead of exemplifying God's love. So to all those who are new to co-parenting or who have been doing it for a while, stay encouraged. Your co-parenting journey can get easier if you're willing to do the work. You may not always get it right, but if you continue to work at it, it will start to get easier because at the end of the day, the only person you can change is yourself. This community is here for you. You got this.